Hey y'all, Bite Size Bible in a Year, chronological edition for April 1st. We read Judges 4 through 6, so we see Deborah and Jael overcoming Sisera and the Canaanite army, and then we see the beginning of Gideon's story. Side note, I love me some Gideon. I love his story. I can't wait to read it again. The rest of it, I haven't read today yet. Don't judge me. I haven't done it yet, but I'll do it. Okay, I want to focus on just one point today, and it's a point that is near and dear to my heart, and it's that God uses the most unlikely people to accomplish his will. He uses people like you, and he uses people like me, just normal people, nothing remarkably spectacular about us. We just love Jesus. Normal people. Those are the people he uses to accomplish his will. We see that in our reading today with Deborah and Jael, both women, and they were integral in the defeat of this huge Canaanite army with this powerful commander, Sisera. So Deborah is leading. First of all, hello, she's a judge in ancient Israel in a culture where women were not really highly esteemed, so that's crazy anyway. So she is leading the army into battle, and then Jael is the one who brings the final victory. The woman, Jael, the wife of a soldier. And so who would ever think that women would be integral in ancient Israel overcoming an enemy? It's wackadoo. It's crazy. It's awesome. And then we see Gideon and the beginning of his story, and we see that he starts out fearful. He's hiding. They're all hiding. Remember, they're being overrun by the Midianites, and they're hiding while they are working. He's threshing wheat, which is meant to be done up top on a hilltop. He is threshing it down low. They do it up top because the wind is meant to blow away the waste, the chaff. Well, he was doing it down low, hiding. So he starts out fearful. Then he has an encounter with the angel of the Lord, who calls him a mighty warrior. And Gideon responds with, whoa, like, I'm nobody. What are you talking about? So he goes from fearful to doubtful. And he says, okay, if you are God, if the Lord is telling me that I'm going to help defeat an army for Israelite, bring Israel some victory, I need you to confirm that. And so he does that, and then God does that and gives him this huge experience that lets him know that, yeah, I'm God and we're doing this. And in 6:24, Gideon built an altar to the Lord there and named it Yahweh Shalom, which means the Lord is peace. So he's moved from fearful. He sees God, which makes him a little bit doubtful of his calling. And then he experiences God in this huge thing. So he sees him from afar, but then he experiences him as powerful, which brings him to a peaceful state. And then he begins this relationship where he can hear God giving him instructions. And so he moves, that peaceful state moves him into a relationship with God. And relationship, God tells him that he needs to take down all these, these items that the people around him are using for idol worship. He says to take those down. And then Gideon is faithful and does that. So he moves from fear to doubt to peace and then to faithfulness. But then you see that he starts to be like, well, I'm not so sure again, and he asks for another sign. And I just love that about Gideon. He's not some powerful warrior. He's scared. And he has to be walked through these stages of being scared, then seeing God and being doubtful, and then having an experience with God, and then being like, okay, maybe that brings me some peace, so I'm going to pursue God some more. And God starts speaking to him. They have a relationship, which makes him faithful. And so it's not that God was like, Gideon is awesome right now. He's going, with me, Gideon can do anything. And that's the thing. Let me just tell you, one of my favorite verses in the whole Bible is 1 Corinthians 1, well, it's more than 1, 26 through 29. Brothers, consider your calling. Not many are wise from a human perspective, not many powerful, not many of noble birth. Instead, God has chosen the world's foolish things to shame the wise, and God has chosen the world's weak things to shame the strong. God has chosen the world's insignificant and despised things, the things viewed as nothing, so he might bring to nothing the things that are viewed as something, so that no one can boast in his presence. So he uses people that that the culture might look at as insignificant or small, and he uses those people to do mighty things so that God gets the glory. If you go back, Deborah gives God all the glory, and God tells Gideon, he calls him a mighty warrior, and he says, I am with you. His strength and his might comes from God. That's the reason God can use people that are unlikely to be used, is because it's really God doing everything, and he is the one accomplishing these things through us. And so when we're just normal people doing awesome things for God, people are like, what's going on there? And then God gets the glory, not the person. So you can't count yourself out, because God uses everybody. So if you're starting to count yourself out, stop it. Stop it right now. All right, and so I was going to say one more thing. What was it? Okay, it's not always the big thing. It's small things too. It's a smile at somebody. It's a hug. It's a handshake. It's a high five. It's helping somebody. It's listening. It's being with somebody. It doesn't always have to be this big, huge thing that you're doing for God. Jesus is in the little things, in the everyday moments. And so God wants to use you exactly where you are right now and make a difference where you are now. That's a big thing to God. The small things are the big things to God. So that's my encouragement to you. Where you are right now, God wants to use you, you normal everyday person, to do awesome things. Okay, so April 2nd is Judges 7 through 9:21. 7 through 9:21, and we'll talk about it tomorrow.